I thought it would be fun to have a look at all of the perfumes I have in my collection, some of which I'm keeping, some of which I'm unsure about, and some of which I know I'm getting rid of, that have a chocolate note in, or specifically, I'm going to do 2 different videos. So this is the one that's going to have the cacao note, and then I'm going to do another one that has actual chocolate as a note, because I actually have enough to do to do both. So I thought I'd start off with this one because I never see anyone talking about the AV Perfumes by Adrienne Vittadini. This one's still in the packaging because I'm not entirely sure about this perfume yet. I have the original AV and I like it a lot, but it's a very different smell to this one. This one is actually called Glamour Charming. It's not... sorry, I've taken off the lid because I'm going to spray it. It's got quite a plasticky little lid, but I really like the way these bottles look. I think they're really cool. But anyway, so this one isn't on Fragrantica. It says AV Glamour, but this is actually AV Glamour Charming. They come in, I think they're 90ml bottles, these. They all come in this size, all of the AVs. And I think you can get them for around about a tenner. So they're super cheap for quite a lot of perfume. And the two, I kind of, in a way, I like them all. The one that I find easiest to wear is the regular AV. But anyway, so this one I had to try. You'll have to excuse me if this sounds really over the top because I can't find a pyramid of the notes. So I have to read out everything it says. So apparently this perfume has juicy notes of Italian lemon, cassis, mandarin and apple, laced with a gourmand note of almond to give this perfume a crisp, invigorating overtone. The heart of the perfume contains middle notes of jasmine, orange blossom, tuberose, freesia and magnolia, providing the overall aroma of sweet floralcy. A rich, creamy note of caramel tones down the overt sweetness with a subtle gourmand accord, anchored with base notes of cedar, vanilla, tonka bean, musk, cacao and amber. This irresistible fragrance has a smoky undertone with a hint of creaminess. So there is a lot going on in this perfume, which is why I'm not totally sure about it at the moment. Because I'm not really a kind of, I don't know, like I'm not really a kind of floral with fruits and sweet and, you know, that kind of girl. If the florals are a bit too obvious, I struggle with it a little bit. This one's odd because I think there's something about the way the cedar is sitting with the other things in this perfume that is making me think it smells a bit minty, but that's kind of something I quite like about it. So considering there's like caramel and cacao and almond, it's actually quite a light, pretty scent, this one. And what I'm thinking is, I haven't really tried this in cold weather yet, but I think this might be a good cold weather option for me because I'm more of a skin scent person. I don't tend to like very thick and heavy perfumes. I certainly don't like heavy perfumes in warm weather. But if you don't mind that kind of thing, this is actually kind of an interesting and quite nice perfume, I'd say. The cacao note's very gentle. The caramel isn't cloying. The almond is more, I think, like a green almond, you know. But I can smell the fruits and I smell a bit of the florals. And I think the cedar in this is quite strong, but I think because it's mixed with other notes that I quite like, it's not coming across as being overtly woody to me, but there's a lot going on in this perfume. It's quite interesting. So that's AV Glamour, and that's the Charming flanker. I'll just push that over to here. So next on the agenda, we have one of my absolute favourites, which is Vera Wang from the Embrace line, and this is French Lavender and Tuberose. So this is the one that reminds me of, what's it called? The Twilight body spray. So that's the Sleepy range from Lush, which is their lavender and tonka bean. This one doesn't have tonka bean, but it's a very beautiful, sweet, creamy, comforting, please give me a hug style scent with lavender. And I don't get lots of tuberose in this, and a lot of people don't, but then other reviewers have said they can really smell the tuberose. So I think it depends how you know, obviously perfume's different for everyone, but the notes in this are mandarin orange in the top, middle notes lavender, tuberose, base notes vanilla and cacao, and you don't really get the cacao until the dry down, the deeper dry down. you get a kind of slightly tangy mandarin-y, lavender, tuberose and vanilla. And then it gets creamier, and then you get the cocoa, the cacao powder. It's just, this is such a comforting and beautiful smell. And again, you can get these from, in the UK, the full price, they're about £15. You can get, this one's a bit more tricky to get than some of the other ones. I can't get this in tester bottles. But this one is really lovely. I think it's totally worth the £15. You can only get 30ml, but the deep dry down with the cacao is so pretty. It's such a nice one. I really love that perfume. So, I've got a little shout out here. I don't actually have the bottle with me, unfortunately, but I have a little tester of Black Opium Extreme. Now, I don't like the Black Opiums. They're all way too sweet for me. I find them intensely sickly. I just don't like them. And the reason I tried a sample of the extreme version is because the extreme version, everyone was saying it wasn't as sweet, which is a good one. And also they were saying there's a cacao note in it. So I thought coffee and chocolate, I mean, how can you go wrong? And honestly, how can you go wrong? I'm going to ask for a bottle of that probably from someone for Christmas, just a little one, because, and again, only in the winter, but just to give it a quick mention because I don't have the carded sample for it anymore. But Black Opium Extreme is top notes of coffee and cocoa, cacao, I should say. Middle notes, jasmine, sambac, orange blossom. Base notes, bourbon, vanilla, and patchouli. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in here that is normally something I don't like in perfumes. But the coffee and the cacao, I think, is what you really get from this with a bit of vanilla. And it's a really nice perfume. But anyway, so the next one on my list is Absolute Beauty. Simply Jill Sander. And this is the Poudre Intense. So this is the one, oh my God. It's so beautiful. Also a bit too powerful for me to wear, a bit too sweet for me to wear at this time of year. But this is the one that smells like very sweet, lovely baby powder. So it smells like my Demeter baby powder perfume with a big dose of cacao sprinkled in. It's just full, delicious, powdery cocoa powder. It's very powdery. It is called simply Poudre. It would be weird if it wasn't. And the notes in this are top notes of freesia and mandarin orange, middle notes heliotrope and cacao, base notes cashmere, sandalwood and vetiver. And it's just super sweet, super girly. It's a real pure, it's a very, very pure cocoa powder smell. Yes, it has that baby powder vibe, but it just is sweet cocoa powder. Honestly, if what you're looking for is something that is almost pure cocoa powder, then this is the one you want. If you just want to smell chocolatey and you don't really want to smell much else and you don't want to like pay for a niche perfume, then this is perfect. Now I'll just add, I have tried Choco Mask that everyone talks about from Al Rahab, and that to me is like a pink sugar style perfume. It's very vanilla-y in a way that I really don't like. I found it really sickly. I really didn't like it, and I had to get rid of that one. This is not that. This isn't like a super vanilla-y perfume. Choco Mask is called Choco Mask, but that's vanilla with a hint of chocolate. This is cocoa powder, and it's super powdery. It's really nice. I like this one a lot. It's just yummy. I'm massively looking forward to it being winter so I can wear that one, because that is like putting on a cashmere sweater or something. What's next on the list? Ooh. Okay. Oh, I love this one. This is Anais Premier Delice by Cacharel. And the bottles of these nowadays are see-through, so they're like a beautiful peachy coloured clear bottle. This looks more like the original Anais, but don't get it twisted, this is nothing like the original Anais. No. This is top notes of pear, orange, bergamot and galbanum, middle notes of peony and hyacinth, base notes of cacao and cedar. Now, to me though, this is pears. This is like a pears in syrup, but like tinned pears. This is like a beautiful, sweet but tangy tinned pear in sweetened fruit juice. So it's not horrifically sweet. It's not like massively sugary, but it is sweet. But it's sweet in a pear syrupy kind of way. And then just sprinkled in cocoa powder. That's exactly what this smells like. And it is heavenly and beautiful. And it's sweet, but I can still, as long as it's like maybe under like 20, 24, 23 degrees or something, I can still wear this one in summer because it's so fruity. It's absolutely delicious. I love that. And I also think this, like all the Baccarat Rouge dupes, all of the things I smell that everyone then says, oh, this smells like Baccarat Rouge, this smells like Baccarat Rouge. This also smells a bit like that, but it's way better and it's all about the pear. So I think that, and this came out before Baccarat Rouge, I'm just putting it out there. If you want a perfect pear perfume with just a hint of cocoa powder, which just makes it warm and beautiful, and it's not clashing at all because it's not dark chocolate, it's powder, it's cocoa powder. This is beautiful. It's the nicest pear perfume I've ever smelled. And whenever I smell any other pear perfumes, I think they're rubbish compared to this. So absolutely love it. Absolutely obsessed. Okay, so we've got one here that's still in its box. This is from Avon. This is Imari Corset. And I'm undecided about this one because I think it's actually quite gentle on the skin, but I'm not entirely sure if it's for me. So I'm just going to give this one a quick spray into the box. Actually, let me do this on some... I did cut some paper up so I could do it properly. Here we go. Oh! It's kind of pretty, this one. Whether I can wear it is another matter because sometimes... Pretty bottle too. Sometimes I struggle a bit with berries in perfumes. There's a lot going on here. I'm going to read out the notes for you. I'm also trying to get it so you can actually see it. There we go. Okay, right. Ah, it's kind of nice though. Okay, so top notes: blackcurrant, apple, bergamot. Middle notes: liquor, raspberry, rose, plumera. Don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Base notes: cacao pod and cacao, butter, leather, and sandalwood. And it's very strong in the berries, I'd say, this one. The blackcurrant and the raspberry is really noticeable. The florals are really gentle. The liquor's not too alcoholic for me. And then, you know, you don't get a huge amount, like it's not obvious straight away that there's loads of cocoa in this. Again, that comes a bit more in the dry down. But it is quite pretty. This is on my I'm not quite sure list of whether I'm going to keep it or not. That's why it's in the box. Because I can sometimes be a bit fussy about having berry scents on me if they're a bit too sweet, but this definitely still has a tartness. When you first spray it, it smells like it's going to be really strong, but it's actually a bit gentle on the skin in a way that's quite pleasing to me because I'm a skin scenty person. But it's only about £8. This is such a bargain. I got this one from eBay, which I think is probably the best place to get these, generally speaking. I have to start moving these around so we've got room. How many have I got left? Yes, definitely. Yeah, that might be one I keep. Again, I need to try it in cold weather, you know, and see how it does. But if you like a kind of berry scent and you like chocolatey scents, this one's really quite nice. It's not like full of patchouli. It's not ridiculously woody. It's like, it's quite bright and light, I think, for the notes in it, you know. It could have gone super cloying, this one. And speaking of which, the next one I'm going to do, whoa, talk about cloying. So this one I bought because it was an absolute bargain. I think I got this from Health Farm, and I mean, it's got a ridiculous name, and this is, as it turns out, supposed to be a dupe for Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. Now, that is not a perfume that I'm interested in because I was pretty sure I wouldn't like it. But because I'm interested in, what's it called? The Black Opium Extreme. I was interested in a perfume that has like coffee and cocoa in it. So because this was such a bargain, I thought I'd try it. Can you actually see it? There we go. Let me put it there. There we go. So this is, I'm going to get this name very butchered, Nazarene Gabrielli, and it's called I'm Not a Bad Girl. And this is just not, it's not doing it for me, this one. Yeah, it's too sweet and I'm just not into it. But then I think I wouldn't be into Carolina Herrera's Good Girl either. So this, if you want a real bargain, this might be a good shout for you. So the top notes in this are listed as almond and coffee, middle notes jasmine, sambac and tuberose, base notes tonka bean and cacao. And you get the coffee, you get the almond. I think you get quite a lot of jasmine and tuberose in this though. So I think this one is just way too floral for me for how kind of sweet it is as well. I don't do very well with those kinds of smells. Yeah, there's too much. There's too much of the jasmine, there's too much of the tuberose for the sweet tonka, cacao and almond and coffee, you know? So this one isn't for me personally, but a lot of people really like this because I think they like the Jill Sander. The Jill Sander, sorry, I was looking at that one when I said it, but they like Good Girl, you know, the one in the bottles with the big heel, the shoe bottle. But this one is not really my kind of jam, so I think I have to move these again. So that one's definitely not going to stay with me because it's just not my kind of thing, really. But yeah, I mean, I think that cost me like less than a £5 so from Health Farm. So if you're interested in it, or if you like Good Girl but you don't want to spend the money, or you just want something similar, all the reviews of this say that this is quite a good dupe for that. So what have we got next? Oh yeah, I've only got this in the box still because I literally just bought it. So this is Sweet by Lolita Lempika, and I did have a tester of this and I really liked it. I really liked wearing it, so I knew I was going to get a bottle, and then I just waited until I could get a decent price for it. So I kept the bottle just for this video. I keep saying that. I kept the box just for this video because I just got a tiny baby one. I mean, it's just a little teeny weeny one. So cute. Oh. So let's have a quick sniff. This is an interesting one because I don't think it's great in the top notes. I don't think it's the best when you first spray it, but it turns into something really beautiful. So this is sweet. And the top notes of this are sour cherry and sugar, middle notes cacao, iris and angelica, base notes musk and cashmere wood. And this, when you first spray it, it's a little bit mishmashy, I think. And it's quite strong, it's very sweet. And it's a bit like, I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't take long until it dries down into just the most delicious like cherry scent. I mean, I think at first it is a chocolate cherry scent, you know. It's much more chocolatey, I think, in the beginning, and then it gets more kind of gentle cacao. So I think, yeah, it's chocolate cherry at first. You need to let it calm down a little bit, and then it just turns into a gorgeous sweet but sour cherry. With just a sprinkling of cocoa powder, and it's really tasty. It's a little bit too sweet for me for this time of year, but it's beautiful and lovely, and I really, really like that one. I think it's gorgeous. Let's put that one over there. Okay, we're on to the last bit. So this is Hugo Boss, the scent for her. This is the intense version. So I also have here it's falling out. Oh no. Okay, so I've also got the scent Private Accord and the scent for her, the original one. So I'm just going to talk about these real quick because I got a sample of this as well before I bought it because I wanted to smell them all. And Private Accord, so Private Accord is the one that I saw first, you know, and that's the one that I was excited about. So this is Private Accord here. And I'll just read what it says, actually. It's quite helpful because I have the inside bit. So, exquisite notes of sweet mandarin, captivating osmanthus flower, sensual cocoa absolute, and warm roasted tonka combine and seduce the senses. Now, this is lovely. It genuinely is lovely, and it I think I cocked this up when I was talking about this before because I was saying there's peach in it. There isn't peach in the Private Accord one. It is mandarin orange, and it smells like a chocolate orange, but it only smells like a chocolate orange for maybe 10 minutes, if that. So I put it on my skin. I loved it. I let my partner sniff it, and he was like, oh, that's lush. I was like, yes, it is so lush. And then the orange kind of disappeared, and it just became like an osmanthus-y kind of cocoa powder smell, and I just did not like it as much. And I was like, I don't really want to spend, 40, 50 quid on a little bottle of something that the smell only lasts for 10 minutes, the smell that I like. It might, I'm holding on to this little sample so I can wear it every now and again. And it might be that if I ever see it come up for a good price, I might ask for it for a present or something. But I mean, it's nice, but it's just not worth the money. Like, they really need to work on making that last longer. So then I also I really quite liked the original scent for her. That's this one here. They all look so similar. It's kind of annoying, really, trying to work out what's what. But this is exquisite notes of honeyed peach, delicate freesia bloom, captivating osmanthus flower, and intensely roasted cocoa. Seduce the senses. This one's really nice as well. However, this one's more flowery. It smells more perfumey, if that makes sense. It's less gourmand smelling and more perfumey. Whereas both the Scent Intense and Private Accord both have quite a gourmand quality to them. Whereas this one very much is pretty. It has that nice cocoa note in it, but it's more flowery. It's less peachy, and so it's less gourmand. It's a bit more floral. But I do also really like this, and it's also they're quite subtle. They're not really strong, these perfumes. They're a bit skin scenty, but this one's really nice. So I liked wearing that one. I enjoyed having it on my skin, but not compared to this one. This one is absolutely lush. So my absolute favourite of the ones that I've smelt from Hugo Boss. So this one, I'm just going to find the notes. Make sure I'm getting the right one. Yeah, they're all very similar in the notes, but they do smell a bit different. So I'd say the original Hugo Boss and this one do smell similar, but this one's way more peachy. And I don't like peach in a lot of perfumes. I'm super fussy about it. And I particularly don't like it with vanilla. I hate it with rose, but it works in this perfume because you don't really notice the other notes in it, a lot of them. So this is peach and honey top notes, middle notes osmanthus, base notes cocoa or cacao powder and vanilla. But reading those, it's probably a roasted cocoa, right? Now, this just smells like fresh honeyed peaches. Or maybe like a honey syrup peach, but not ridiculously sweet. This one, it's got a tartness. It's still got that tart fruitiness you get with peach, along with the sweetness. And then it just smells like a sweetened cocoa powder on top of it. So it's very similar to Anais in that it smells like a kind of syrupy fruit with cocoa powder sprinkled on it. And there's not much else going on. It's just that this is the peach version of the pear Anais. It's super pretty. It's not ridiculously sweet. Again, it's one that I can wear in summer, just not when it's like super, super hot. But I think it's lovely. I really like that one. And actually, this is like a nice little collection. Generally speaking, most of these I think I'm quite happy to keep, There's literally no way I can arrange all these without looking insane. But let me just try and push that one behind there. So I just really, really like these. I think there's some lovely perfumes here. I think my absolute favourite of all of these is Anais, well, and my Vera Wang Embrace. The French Lavender and Tuberose, they're my absolute favourites. I also love these two a lot. I love this one. I think this one might become like a like, and I think that one could be a like. This is the only one that I absolutely do not like. I really don't like this one. And I think I'm probably one of the many people that doesn't like Good Girl. That's just not my kind of vibe. But if you like Good Girl, that's a big perfume for a small price. And yeah, so the next video I do will be actual chocolate notes. So I've got some with white chocolate, I've got some with dark chocolate, I've got some that just say chocolate. I don't know if it's milk or not. So I will be back. It will be a slightly smaller group, but not necessarily, worse or better, just a same chocolatey vibe, but less powdery,